Welcome along to round 5 in the Lower Southwest Football League here between Deanmill and Imperials. This is the Todd Cooper Cup in its 23rd year for 2025. Apologies if you've been joining us. We've only just figured out that was the last quarter of the reserves game. So we await for the two teams. They're going to line up for the pre-match presentations. Of course, this is also the Brodie McFarlane Memorial Round for Deanmill, celebrating the life of Brodie McFarlane as well as John Todd and the Cooper family. So both sides lining up. This is a very important game for both teams. Deanmill come in 5th, Imperials 6th, both with one win on the board, each and 2 losses. There is less than 1% separating these two sides on the ladder, because it is a very, very tight competition at the moment, the Lower Southwest. Deanmill, I saw them in round 1. They absolutely destroyed Boyatbrook, on Boyatbrook's home ground as well. The reigning premiers dominated them, did not give them a look in. Since then, they've had losses to Bridgetown and Southerners, while for Imperials, they defeated Manjimup last week in a very impressive display, after losing to Boyatbrook and Southerners as well. This is going to be a cracking game of football. As I mentioned, 5th and 6th, these two respective teams come in one game apiece. Kojonup currently on top of the ladder by a game to Southerners, Bridgetown and Boyatbrook, all on 8 points. And then Deanmill and Imperials locked on 4, and the Tigers yet to open their account. Again, apologies if you've been watching. That was the final quarter in the reserves game, which is nice because I was getting a little worried because there were some names or numbers that weren't on my team sheet. But we've been able to rectify all that, and we're now ready and set to go for a bit of Saturday afternoon football from Deanmill. They're running about half an hour late, but that's okay. We're in the country. That's what happens. We're set and ready to go. This is a big game. The Todd Cooper Cup for 2025 between two sides that have respect for each other, but I wouldn't say like each other in this competition. As we get set and ready to go. The two ruckmen are ready. The umpire about to hold the ball aloft. Ibsen, the ruckman for Imperials, while Hall for Deanmill is in the ruck. The umpire holds the ball aloft. Saturday afternoon football, Deanmill and Imperials is underway, and it's Deanmill who get the first clearance and foray forward to half forward. Coming out to meet it nicely. They get it. The handball's going. Gianardi throws it on the boot. Nice looking kick forward. Impossible to defend when that's the sort of service that you're getting. And it's Demetriou who takes the mark right on the 50. At right half forward. Lots of open spaces there for the key forwards to lead into. He's going to back himself in though. From right on the paint of 50. Arcs around to get the distance. It's swinging back. It stays the near side. Minor score only. First score on the board within the first 40 seconds is a behind to Deanmill. Ibsen. They're going to have to call it back due to the goal umpire having not waved his flags yet. And so now that outlet's covered. So they instead go short. Bravich takes the mark. Goes shorter still towards the centre of the ground. At still centre half back. Covered the ground well here, Deanmill. Short again. Beebe. His kick was turned over. It was to no one in particular. In the end, Tempera said thank you very much as he just landed in his lap. Right in front of the Imperials coach's box. Goes inside 50 to a tall wide over the back. What a fly from Strawn. He was 3 deep. He had 2 to beat. And he takes the mark. There's a contender for the mark of the day with thanks to Nutrient Ag. Had a beautiful sit. And he'll now go back for goal. Kicks on its way. It starts right. It's swinging back. Did it get there enough? No, it didn't. Stays the near side. Deserved a goal after that. What a fly. Great early little highlight Here's Ibsen. Big ruckman covering a lot of the ground early. That's going to be 50, surely. Ooh, umpire decides to give him the benefit of the doubt with Hall, the skipper. Decides to go to the shady outer side where there's lots of cars lining the boundary. Hancock goes short. The kick had to be good. It just had a little bit too much air on it from Ibsen. And now they can respond. East, the wide sweeping handball turned straight over. Hall went back to where it came. And throwing it on the boot was Hancock. A high up and under ball. And over the back. Nice mark taken on that occasion by Armstrong. But the boundary line beat him. So it'll come back with East. Outer side, centre wing. Chipping ball for Hall. He plays on. Goes to a one-on-one contest. Was knocked away. Well defended there by Bleach Iden. But it spills loose and the numbers are with the home side in Deanmill. A long kick toward the goal line. Spilling the mark was Edgar. Had time to try and recover. Well defended on the goal line. The goalkeeper was there. Came loose. Demetrio goes inside. But they're well set up again, the Magpies. And the mark's taken by Hall, who immediately relieves it laterally to the outer side. Mark taken by Collins. He goes shorter still. Bounce has to be good here for Johnson. It was okay and it invited the pressure. It's a 2-on-1 and it's turned over. Strawn goes inside. Went over the head. Gleeson was there. Can almost stroll into an open goal. They'll get the chance again here, Deanmill. On the goal line. Edgar touched. It was originally called touch. They're going to have a conference. Edgar was sure he kicked it. Umpire has the discussion. A little bit coming in from Wademan. And it's a rush behind only. So 3 early chances go begging for Deanmill. It's been 100% of time, and therefore at half, Demetriou takes the intercept mark. Again, just too much air on it. He read it like a book. Tracked it beautifully, watched it in the flight, grabbed it, and he'll get the chance for his first goal from a second opportunity. This one a lot kinder angle from a similar distance for a perfect start for Deanmill. After dominating the early passages of play, the kick's on its way. It's got the journey. It's got the accuracy. Deanmill on the board. After peppering the goals, Demetrio puts through the first. Here on Saturday afternoon football, Lower Southwest Footy League, 5 minutes gone. Deanmill 1-8. Imperials yet to score. Have really dominated this first 5.5 minutes, Deanmill. Hall in the ruck. Gets the tap and they get the clearance again. McGinty going forward inside 50. Straight onto the chest. A nice mark taken at half forward. Again, perfect delivery. Streaming through the front of the contest. And Demetrio gets it again. Lining up for his third shot at goal, second for the day, in a matter of 30 seconds. This time dead in front. 50 out from goal. Kicks on its way. It's high in the breeze, but it's there. Demetrio has 2. Deanmill also, off the back of a great passage of play, have 2. And Imperials haven't even had a look in within the first 6 minutes. Centre clearance going the way of Deanmill so far. The ascendancy through the middle has been telling. And their dominance early. Starting to put it on the scoreboard as well, which would be worrying for the Magpies. Again, they're going to get another clearance, although it just sat a little bit, and then the kick forward from Sparks was good. Sends it high and long, and again at the front of the contest, the mark is taken. Marks inside 50 have been very good, this time with Strawn. who's kicked 10 goals already this season. There was a bit of push and shove off the ball following it, lining up for his 11th for the year. A key target for Deanmill. And the recipient of another great centre clearance. We're right behind this kick here. Strawn, never in doubt. Goal umpire does not move an inch. Strawn has his first, his 11th for the season. And this is starting to get a little worrying early for the Imperials. Eight minutes gone. And they've rattled on 3 goals and could have had another 2, the Hawks. A perfect day for football out here in Deanmill. 20 degrees is the top. Little bit of breeze coming from the south. As the rotations are made, can they get a bit of ascendancy? No, they can't, as East comes from the back of the stoppage. Strawn was leading like a freight train. Bounced off his chest. Fell to the front of the contest. Edgar got the hands away. Now they're under pressure. Wadham, he's going to have to work for it for the Imperials. Slapped forward. They're going to relieve it, although they're not out of trouble just yet. Goes back to go forward. Johnson sends it wide to the outer side. It sat nicely for Wadham, who then chips the ball forward with a little 9 iron to Mares. He then goes wider still to Wilson. Held up though on the mark. Did well. Go to the outer side. They haven't made up a lot of ground, but they've had a bit of possession, which is starting to be a little promising. Johnson goes further to Armstrong. Then he snakes the boundary line with a nice kick forward. Still in the back half though, with not a lot to go. A dumping kick from Johnson to centre wing. Out the front. Nice mark taken on that occasion by Scott, who took front position and then played on immediately to go to the middle of the ground to try and make it a little easier for his forwards. Inside 50 now for the Imperials, but they do well. Tempera to get it wide, and then the kick wasn't fantastic, although Demetrio was there. He's already had a lot of influence on this game. Little bit of candy sold, wants to go back to Demetrio. Boundary line starting to become a factor. They keep it inboard. Nice kick and an even better mark taken on that occasion by Hall, who then went to the runner going past him, which was East. He took a bounce, then goes to half forward, out into the space, letting Strawn run onto it. Had time to collect, gather his thoughts, and then give the handball away. The kick to the forward pocket wasn't great. It goes over the head, and it fell into the lap of Smith. Goes wide to Kammerman. He in turn goes short. Mark taken by Goodrich. Handed it to the run of Kammerman, who got it back. The kick was good, but Barovich spilt the mark at a crucial time. Might get it back. There's been a free kick called. It's for a throw. Advantage, said the umpire. So the Magpies with their first real foray forward in this first term, but it's a 2-on-1, and the numbers win out for the Hawks. Nickel handed it inside. The runner of McGinty was good, and then the kick to Demetrio, who's already kicked 2 and had a fair few touches. Goes inboard to Hall, the big ruckman. Had time to run and get onto the preferred left boot. Inside the forward 50, to the top of the goal square. Running onto it, Gleeson. Under pressure, throws it on the boot. Pressure affected the kick. One behind only. The third blemish for Deanmill today. After really dominating large parts of this game. Only a couple of inside 50s for Imperials. And for Deanmill, they've had it all their own way so far. And it looks like it may just be staying in the forward half, although there was a pull of the jumper on Wademan, co-captain for the Magpies. He goes short. Mark taken by Hall. So they want to play a bit of possession footy. It was a dangerous kick. Got there just in the nick of time to Bleach Hayden. He then goes wide. Wanting the run and open spaces with Wilson. He's been corralled by the ruckman in Hall. Stays down the outer side to centre wing. It's to a nest of Hawks jumpers though. Over the footy was Cahill. He ripped it away using his strength and tenacity. Handed it back. Wants the 1-2 with DeCampo. DeCampo obliges. Then goes laterally inside. Nice mark taken by by Nickel, the co-captain for the Hawks. He then goes in turn with a chipping little ball. It wasn't fantastic, but it worked out okay for Rawson to grab onto. Then a scrubby ball to half forward, bouncing past the initial contest, putting his head over the footy and ripping it away was Hall. He then had to work hard again. Reeve ripped it away, went on a 360 turn, and then up to the big clinches of Strawn. Strawn takes the mark left, one out in the 50. Almost an uncontested mark in the end. And from a similar position to where he kicked his first just moments ago, he'll get the chance for his second and Deanmill's fourth. Off the back of a nice rebound 50. Strawn gets it, sneaks it home, and Deanmill are really rolling in this first quarter now. Fourth goal on the board, 4-3-27, no score for Imperials. 13 and a half minutes gone in the first term. He's in the race for the leading goal kicker, Strawn, and those couple of early goals do him no harm in that contest. We saw him also take a ripping mark at the start of the game. Couldn't get the goal on that one. So he's kicked 2-1 for the day. But the fact that he's already having an influence adds even more concern for the Imperials as Hall flicks it wide to East. The ruckman did the roving and then East put it inside 50 to the pocket. It sat okay. Strawn had time to collect his thoughts, then screw it inboard. Out the front, nice mark taken by Hall. Barely carried the 15, but the umpire takes pity on the cause. He sticks to the outer side where a lot of the play's been from a Imperials perspective. They haven't been overly keen on moving it to the broadcast side. Ibsen, who's battled hard in the ruck so far. He's probably won the around the ground battle, although just as I say that, he turns it straight over to Rawson, who then goes short to his teammate there in Tempera. Goes inside 50, left all alone. How can you leave a player alone in the square? Particularly when it's Gleeson, the small forward. Running back, takes the mark on the goal line. This is going to be a tough angle, but he's wanting to make a move on. Goes the check side, round the body. Never in doubt. This is a white hot start for Deanmill. Gleeson with the fifth of the day for Deanmill. And we've only played 15 minutes in the first quarter. The Imperials haven't even looked like getting a goal yet. He joins the party after Demetrio kicked the first two, Strawn the next couple. And Gleeson just then right on the goal line puts home the fifth. Halls, as we saw him in round one against Boyertbrook, he's been winning the ruck battle, and this time he gets his own clearance again to the top of the 50. Spills out the back of the initial contest, but it's bobbling around. Opens the door for Reeve. Quick snap on goal, gets it! An extraordinary set of circumstances. Reeve and Rawson combine for something out of nothing. Rawson gets the goal, and there's a contender for the goal of the day as well. 39 plays nothing. 40 plays nothing, rather. Here in the first term for your Saturday afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. James Gardner in the chair. This is turning into a little bit of a bloodbath for Imperials, who need to start to win some ball themselves. Ball's coming back into the middle of Deanmill. Perfect day for football, not a cloud in the sky. And Deanmill, the home side, are running on top of the ground at the moment. They get another clearance. East overran it slightly, had to go back in to try and mop up the mess. Knocked it back. And then the kick forward was beautiful. And on this occasion it was Rawson who we saw kick a miraculous goal just before, take the mark and turn his back straight on goal to go back and put through his second and the 7th for Deanmill. Rawson leans back slightly on the kick to get the distance. He got the distance, no problem at all, but the accuracy was a big problem as it goes to the right-hand side. It has been locked in, this forward half for Deanmill for most of the day. Wilson from the kick out, nowhere really to go, so he runs the required distance and then dumps it long, tries to get it out the back, did so. There's been a whistle on play. That's coming back for Smith. He has it at right half back. Goes down the line. Nice mark taken out in front by Armstrong. Can this spark something for the Magpies? They've had just as much ball in terms of possession, but where they've had it hasn't been effective. Under pressure, the kick was smothered with Johnson. He gets it back after there was a push in the back called. Right in the middle of Deanmill. Goes laterally to the broadcast side. Mark taken by Ibsen. And it's going to be called back again to Johnson. Incredibly frustrating stuff for all involved, particularly the Magpies, who had their chance to try and get something happening. To the broadcast side, the kick was really poor there from Wademan. Just sums up how they've gone so far. Into the lap of Hall. For a big man, he's a good user of the footy, as is Reeve, the nippy little small forward, a long way up the ground. Goes to Strawn. He's got numbers over the back. It's going to get there. Off the chest of Gleeson. Had time to recover. Off the deck. Goal. Gleeson has 2. And it's a very early party time for Deanmill. They've kicked 7 through the opening 20 minutes as we enter time on. 7-5-47 to the Magpies, no score. Here, round 5, Lower Southwest Football League. James Gardner in the chair for filming footy. All thanks to Manage 'em Up Tyre Power. And of course, Nutrient Ag Solutions. Great Southern Fuels. Great to have your company this afternoon. If you're a Deanmill supporter, you would be very happy with how things are looking at the moment. Particularly the work of the small forwards and the forward line as a whole, really. Gleeson with 2, Strawn with 2, Demetrio with 2 as well. And you throw in Rawson's magnificent goal before, off the back of Reeves' good work. And you'd say that they are right on top. Hall slapped it down, but it was no one's advantage on his side. Instead, his opposing number in Ibsen got the clearance, and now they're inside to the left half forward with Armstrong. He's got nowhere really to go, so he puts it to the top of the goal square, leading out. Good mark taken. Spotted the space. And the mark is taken. In a lot of hurry to get it all on. Gets the first for Imperials. This time it's Scott. Breaks a run of 7 goals. In fact, Potts kicks that goal. Couldn't quite see his number from where we are. But breaks the run of 7-5 for Deanmill. They get their first 20 minutes into the first quarter. And to say they needed that would be the understatement of the century. 47 plays 6, 21 minutes gone. Two sides that are 5th and 6th on the ladder with just 0.75% separating them. Both with just the one win of the season. You wouldn't think that the scoreline would be looking like as it is, but it is. 41 points at the moment. We haven't had a lot of stoppages today. That's probably the first that I can recall. On the whole, it's been a pretty free-flowing quarter of football, which has been great to see. Free kick picked out. Advantage is paid, and it's to the advantage of the Hawks. Strawn had to sit under it, was knocked away from him. Well done by the Imperials defence. Although they're under pressure, there's been a free kick picked out. Coming back to the Magpies with Wilson. He did the initial defending against Strawn and goes wide. With a very wide kick indeed. Out to Johnson. At left half back, goes short and, well, Ghizzarelli had a lot of work to do, and in the end it was just a little too much as the boundary line beat him. Sparks has options inboard, instead goes back to Cahill, who will then wheel and go with no one on the mark, and he's happy to lay the boot into it and get it deep inside 50. Out the back, mark is spilled by Wilson, but he had time to recover and hand it to Johnson, who also had a bit of time to throw it on the boot. Can they just get something going here off half back, the Magpies? Little toe poke into the centre of the ground. Dangerous looking ball. Heavy hit laid there by Gianardi, and he is not in a good way, Cameraman. Collected him high, he's still down. Umpire paid the free kick. The advantage paid inside 50 for the Magpies. No one is home though, and Deanmill can mop it up, and East can take the bit of time off the clock and go short to Cahill. He in turn goes up the staples with Hall. Big ruckman hands it to the runner in Cahill, who steps around one tackle, breaks it nicely, streams through the middle of the ground, up to inside 50, on the lead. Great mark taken by Strawn. Thought he played on. Umpire said he hadn't, so instead he brings him back to set the mark, and he plays on. The mark's spilt though by Rawson. Had to go back onto hands and knees and flick it to Strawn. He in turn got it to Fowler, who goes inside 50. He'll go right to the goal line, and it'll get there. When it's your day, and it certainly looks that way for the Hawks at the moment. Fowler continues the momentum for Deanmill. Gets it back out to 47 points. An equal game high. 8-5-53. One straight 6. 25 minutes gone in the first quarter. Round 5 here in the Southwest Footy League. As we tick towards quarter time, which really can't come soon enough for Imperials, but Deanmill will want to pile a bit more pain on here in the Todd Cooper Cup. Extracting it away. Armstrong had time to set himself, survey the options, and then overcook the kick horribly to the boundary line where it rolls over and out. Gillies was giving chase, but wasn't good enough to get there. As we come back on, another stoppage. Slapped away again toward the boundary. Over and out. So we'll get yet another throw in, where we've had the last couple. Tossed back into play. Both ruckman tussle, knocked to the front of the contest. Extracted away out the front of the contest. Deanmill, as they have done so often today. Nice ball down the line for Strawn. Had time to then pop the kick. Beautifully weighted to the lead and run of Fakwa, who then goes inside 50. Giving chase is Rawson. Boundary line beats him though. How about that kick though from Strawn to get it inboard? It's had some great highlights already so far throughout this contest. And another goal for Deanmill, with Strawn getting his third. They've kicked 9 of 10 in this first quarter, Deanmill, and have looked like there are no signs of them slowing down at all. 27 minutes gone here in the first quarter. We were running slightly late here at Deanmill today. with a late start to the game. Ball back in the middle, tossed up. Won again by Hall, but Imperials, they might get one little last foray forward before quarter time to make this scoreboard look a little bit more respectable and give them some momentum. Slap to the front. Hancock tried hard. Extracted away. Scott throws it on the boot. High up and under ball. Good luck sitting under that. There's going to be a lot of bodies underneath, and somehow a mark's picked out in all of that. An impressive grab indeed from Potts. Who will go back for the second for Imperials. Kicks on its way, looks good. Potts, after a nice mark, gets the goal. The second for Imperials. And just gives them something to hang their hats on rather, heading into quarter time. Back in the middle, both ruckmen had a piece of it. Comes toward the broadcast side of the ground. Little toe poke off the deck was solid to get the ball moving forward in the way that the Hawks want it to. Good grab. Taken. Sliding along was Armstrong. He took a bit of the deck as well with him. Wants to spot it laterally. Did so successfully to Mares. He then goes short, and sliding along the ground was Hancock. He couldn't hold on to it, and now opens the door for Deanmill to waste a little bit of time as we wind our way to quarter time. Play a bit of possession footy, and if they're lucky, get another goal on the board. It's in the hands of Tempera. Little grass burner. Long centre wing to the broadcast side, and throw being picked out in all of that. Good tackle laid from behind by Armstrong, who's been probably one of the best for Imperials so far. The kick was delightful, and on the end of it, Hancock took the grab, plays on just outside 50, too far out to score, puts it to the pocket. Great grab out the back, taken by Scott. As the siren almost sounds, thought it might have sounded. No, in fact, he's just getting set onto his line. This one for 2 straight goals for the Imperials. He's missing by the looks of that. As we're back on, apologies for that little delay. As it looks like the quarter time siren has sounded, maybe. No, it's a goal for Imperials. They get their third for today. Three straight goals now. Two on the bounce rather. Didn't see, missed who kicked that one. So Couple on the bounce for Imperials. Bit of momentum starting to build possibly, but again, that's stopped very quickly by the Hawks. They're back inside 50. Trying to break the tackle was Fowler. He was brought down holding the ball. Just tried to break one too many in the end. And they can bounce here, Imperials, if they can find the options. Hall at a true centre-half back position, goes wide. And there's the siren for quarter time. A great start if you're a Deanmill supporter. Quarter time, 59 plays 19. We'll take a quick break and be back with more after this. has a goal as we look to get things back underway. As we look to get things back underway for the second term, a 40-point margin for the home side, the Deanmill Hawks over there, rivals in the Imperials. Here, the Todd Cooper Cup out at Deanmill. Perfect conditions for footy, and ripping it straight out of the ruck was Mares. He throws it straight on the boot up towards full forward. It gets out the back. Dangerous times when Scott's lurking with the footy in hand. Boundary line starting to become a factor and sees it over and out. So Deanmill just withstand that little foray forward. They need to be aware of Scott. He's kicked a couple today. Well, sorry, hasn't kicked one yet, but he's been pretty lively up forward. Rows the contest again and misses. Is seen over and out. Knock to the front. Scott bounced off a couple after winning his own footy. Slams on the boot. Was it off sets of hands? It's toward the goal line. It's still in play. Everyone thought it had gone through, but instead bouncing away was Cahill, who did well, and a beautiful looking kick forward for Edgar to grab onto. He then played on. Goes down the outer side. One, the kick was weighted beautifully for Easton to his advantage. He played on. Cahill was running to the inside. He got rid of one tackle and then got rid of another. Threw it on the boot. There's been a whistle on play. And it will be going all the way back to underneath the scoreboard. Which reads 9-5 to 3-1 in favour of the home side. It's a free kick for the Magpies, who need to start winning some early contests. In this second term, Wilson goes wide. Bouncing ball in front of Beebe. He had to work for it, had support, waited for the cavalry to arrive, and it did. He then got it back himself and goes short to Mayer, or Ipsum rather, and then he throws on the boot up to right half forward and taken high, which was pretty clear even from where I was. Mares gets the free kick. Not totally confident with this journey, just from his body language. He's right on the 50. On a 45-degree angle, we are right behind this kick from Mares. Arcs around. It looks good off the boot. Does it have the journey? You bet it does. Imperials get the first goal of the second. Nice looking goal as well. Off the boot of Mares. Keeps them within touching distance. They needed a fast start and they've got it. 4-1. 25 for the Magpies. They trail. Deanmill 9-5-59. Start of the second quarter. Great to have your company this afternoon, wherever you are around the country or even the world. It's great to have you on board for your Saturday afternoon here in Deanmill. Couldn't ask for a better day for football. Both ruckmen again had a piece of it. Now this is where Deanmill have really dominated the game, is in the middle, and they do so again. The handball was classy there from Nickel to go back and then Strawn out on the lead, as he's so often done all year. He's already kicked 3 today. Spots the kick up to full forward. At full stretch, the big fella in Hall. There is no way they were ever stopping that. The kick was on point. The lead was superb. The mark fantastic. And this looks a near certainty, dead in front, 15 metres out from goal, to get it back to the quarter-time margin of 40 points. Hall looks good, looks great. Great bit of play there from the Hawks. Capitalised by a goal. Their 10th of the day. Back out to 40 points. Just as the Imperials were starting to get a little bit of momentum, possibly, it was ended as quickly as it began. was a big key forward. You couldn't ask for better delivery. And when he's at full stretch, it's very rare that anyone is even getting close to him. Back in the centre as the sun begins to set. Just slowly through the trees, making it a little hard to see. Cahill goes wide, fans it. Made Fowler work for it, but he was up to the challenge. He crumbed his own ball and then had time to get around a couple of tackles and throw it on the boot to centre wing on the outer side. Strawn, wanting the boundary line, couldn't find it. Kept in play, well done by Mares to keep the ball in motion, and it may just open up the middle of the ground if they can get there. Although the Imperials, they had the chance. They're a little sloppy and up to it as well. Cahill was even worse. East fended off one tackle, got the handball free just in time. Tempera goes back to go forward, hands it back to Fowler. He goes to the outer side. The kick wasn't fantastic. It was the wrong option. They were 2 against 1, and the numbers went out for the Magpies. Armstrong hands it to the run. Beebe had time to stop and pause and think, may have had too much time. The mark was taken by Gillies. He handed it straight away. Out the back, Scott, one-on-one at the top of the goal square. Dangerous times here for the Hawks. They invite the pressure. It's a 2-on-1. Scott turns into the tackler. Bouncing ball. Lots of bodies around this. Both sides well represented. Ipsum tried to get a boot to ball. Umpire said, give it to me. We'll throw it up. Deanmill do well to at least make it a 0-0 draw and reset. Still a dangerous position if you're a Hawks supporter. To the back of the contest. Soccer off the deck. Straight into the waiting arms of Gillies. He couldn't hold on to it. Handed it back. Fowler. They're going to bounce again here, the Hawks. To the middle of the ground. Strawn led the race. Knocked away from him. Nickel crumbed it well. Kicks it toward the 50, down the outer side to centre wing. Mark taken by Demetriou. He was busy early in that first term. Haven't seen him since. And then goes to East, who was 1 out at the top of the goal square. End-to-end play, coast to coast. And at the top of the goal square, this looks like a great chance for Deanmill to get their 11th. Courtesy of their co-captain in East. He's got it. And when they get that run and gun game going, Deanmill, they are very hard to stop. Out to 46 points. A superb start to the game for them. After Mares kicked the first in the second term, you thought, hold on, maybe, just maybe, the Magpies could mount a bit of a comeback in the second quarter. But with goals to Hall and Eastern in the fashion that they're moving the ball and winning the ball out of the middle, it's hard to see how the Imperials fight back from here. It's only early, I know, we're still in the first half, but it is a little bit concerning if you're a Magpies supporter. Free kick picked out. And so they'll get another clearance, courtesy of East, who just kicked the last goal. Right in the middle of Deanmill. Goes to the outer side. There'd be a lot of happy Hawks supporters. 1-on-1 out the back. Strawn flicked it wide. Demetriou wanted to keep it in play and in motion and keep it in front of him. Then had to go onto hands and knees, and the boundary line got a little too close for comfort as it went out of bounds. Tossed back into play. Knocked to the front of the contest by toss back into play from the clearance. Still in the forward half for Deanmill. They just have not given the Imperial defenders any sort of respite throughout today. Even when the Imperials were winning the contest and getting the ball forward, it would then come back with a fair bit of interest. Right half forward, thrown back into play. It was wide of both ruckmen. And a free kick's been picked out for the big fella in East. He's about At 40 metres from goal. Probably 45 when he gets onto it. On a 45-degree angle. For the third goal on the bounce for Deanmill. The kick was a horrible one. It falls well short. It went across the face and fell short into the forward pocket. And now it gives the chance for Wademan to go inboard, but the handball was very poor. Comes to Demetrio. We know he loves a goal. This for his third. A beautiful snapping goal from Demetrio. There's 3 on the bounce for Deanmill as we enter the middle stages of the second quarter. '77 plays 25 in the second term. And this looks like the Deanmill that I saw in round 1 against Boyotbrook. A team that was full of energy, run and gun. They were winning the contest, and then when they didn't have it, they were getting the ball back and defending really well, which is what we're starting to see today. A very classy finish from Demetrio. He now has 3. The ball's back in the wheels around straight away into the forward pocket. 2-on-1. No matter the result, it was to the advantage. Surely the mark's paid to the forward. Well, I thought he had first hands on it, as did the umpire. And much to the joy of all Deanmill supporters in attendance, the free kick goes to Edgar, directly in front. I don't have him as kicking a goal just yet. For his first, he joins the party. It's a big goal party as well. 13 goals, and we're not even at half-time yet. We're out to a game-high margin. This is turning into an absolute bloodbath. Edgar slammed it. He sent it about another 40 metres past the goal line, so it may take a bit for us to get this ball back, although they looks like they've done it in pretty good time, to be fair. I don't think anyone was expecting a margin quite like this. Particularly when there's two sides, no matter where they are on the ladder, they normally compete in pretty tight affairs. The occasion of the Todd Cooper Cup and the fact that both sides are really battling for a top 4 position. They're both 5th and 6th on the ladder with less than 1% separating them. It's a little disappointing performance from Imperials, as good as Deanmill have been. The fact that it's 58 points. We're not even in time on in the second quarter. Have to start winning some clearances. The broadcast side it heads. Left all alone, Gleeson. Goes back, had time. Beautiful kick, chiseling little ball. And they're away again. The Hawks out on the lead. Strawn. Wouldn't he love that delivery all day, every day? Right on the 50-metre arc. Didn't have to break stride. Landed on his chest beautifully. He brought it in. And he's going back for what I've got to be his fourth. Kick on its way. It's high. Goes to the goal line. It's off hands. Knocked through for a rush behind. Well defended on the line. 3 goals for Strawn today, but more than that, the influence he's had on the game. We saw him take a cracking mark inside the first couple of minutes of the first quarter to begin the game. Hall. And you sense that in the run for the leading goal kicker award, he's putting himself in a great frame and a great position today. Get away with that one, the Imperials. There's been a whistle on play, going back to right on the defensive 50 for the Magpies. It's with Johnson. Goes short. Possibly could have been a 50-metre penalty to Hall, but he took the mark anyway. Happy to take it, and then the kick was a dangerous one, and it was always going to end up over the boundary line. Not really sure what he was thinking, trying to bite off a really short kick like that in such a dangerous position. Toss back into play. Ipsum got it over the back. Gleeson put it on the boot. Chopped off here by Ipsum. Right half back. Goes down the line to the contest, and Cahill over the back said thank you very much. Took an uncontested mark and then went straight away. Strawn had it knocked away from him. Well defended. Wanted the free kick. None was forthcoming. Well, it may have been brought back, and it's going to. The pleading and the question worked. And it's going to be a 50-metre penalty. Going to East. There was a free kick off the ball, down the ground. He's going to be marched to the goal line. He runs in, no one on the mark, pops it through. This is starting to get really, really ugly for Imperials. I don't think many expected a result like this. Off the back of a great win last week by the Imperials. They've come out really quite sluggish, as good as Deanmill have been. It's fair to say Imperials have been pretty poor. Their 14th goal in the first half. 89 plays 25. Thrown back up. Hall got the hit down. Comes back. Gianardi kept the ball in motion out the front of the contest. Spills loose. Tracks it back. Put his head over the footy. Heavily bandaged head that is as well. Couldn't beat the numbers though, despite the endeavour. Although they may still be in with a chance. Reeve gave chase, but Mark taken and then thrown away. How does the umpire read this? He's going to bring it back and hold the mark for Beebe. At left half back to centre wing, down the broadcast side. The ball hasn't spent a whole lot of time for either side. It's been mostly over on the outer side, but they get the chain of handballs going again here, Deanmill. Cahill, who sets up a lot, he's going to be brought down from behind! He didn't hear him coming! Great run-down chase by Armstrong. He was left unawares, and now Armstrong can put the Magpies inside 50. Scoots to the back. Is this the chance for Ipsum? Off the deck. Misses. Sums up their day. I think everyone here at the ground thought that was a certainty. And it really should have been off the back of Armstrong's work to run down Cahill. They deserved a goal. They don't get it. held back into play. Ripping it out of the contest was Hall, and then for a man who's normally so clean with the footy in hand, threw it almost out of bounds. There was no other place that ball was going but out of bounds on the full. And so he hands it back for Imperials. But again, they just can't make hay. Gleeson bouncing away off half-back. Got past the contest, and then Fakwa goes inboard. Nice chipping ball to Sparks. He then goes short in turn to Gianardi, who's a real tough nut. And then he's got the run wide with East. Had time to stop and prop. The bounce was kind. Gave it to Nickel, who was streaming through the middle of the ground. Up inside 50 now for Deanmill, over the head of the big key forwards, and Wilson takes the intercept grab. So this little period, just a little bit of kick-to-kick between both teams, played between the arcs. Mares puts it toward half forward, but it falls short, and Cahill can bounce. Probably been one of the best so far. There's a lot to choose from. And another man who would be close to being best on is Strawn, who then had a plethora of options, and one of them was Hall. Almost raffled it out, and Hall ended up being the winner of it. Dead in front of goal. 45 metres out. He's already kicked one today, the big man, on the approach. Starts his run up a very long way back as he kicks the goal, and Deanmill are really putting a lot of nails in the coffin now. Running out of ways to describe just how easy they are doing it at the moment. 95 plays 26. That's right. You don't need to adjust the screen. That scoreboard is correct. After Mares kicked the first in this second quarter for Imperials, and we thought, hello, maybe there's a chance for the Magpies to come fighting back in this game. They've then gone on to concede the last six. 6 goals on the bounce for Deanmill. As it's thrown back up. It's going to be locked up again. Umpire will come in to relieve the pressure. Right in the middle of Deanmill footy oval here, where we began just moments ago. We're going to get another stoppage. This ball's travelled all of about 2 metres toward the outer side, and there's going to be a free kick. That was pretty obvious. Gianardi, a little overzealous with the tackle. Short, Ibsen. Held up on the mark. Then wants to swing it towards half forward. It's a 2-on-1. Cahill, geez, he's been good all day. That kick wasn't fantastic, but he had time there, Sparks, to recover it well and then give it to McGinty, who then puts it to the broadcast wing. Edgar spilt the beans. Goes back to Cahill, who was a little hot for him, but again, the class prevails. The kick was solid down the line to centre wing. And they're able to run again. Edgar, short chipping ball to half forward, out on the lead. Strawn, how good was that? The kick was magnificent. And then he goes inboard as well. The kick overcooked it a little bit as it spills to the back, but the numbers are in favour with Fowler, who throws it on the boot toward the top of the goal square. It will get over the back, slapped over for minor score. They get away with one there, Imperials. 22 scoring shots to just 8. But the accuracy as well has been impressive from Deanmill, as we've been talking about. A perfect day for football. Top of 20 here in Deanmill. That kick was very, very sloppy. Gianardi rode the bump and then gave the handball away, but Hall pounced on it for the Magpies. Puts it inside 50. One-on-ones. Filling the forward line. Gets over the back. Well done by DeCampo, who hasn't had to do a lot of work, but when he has, he's been good. Then gave it to Gleeson, who wants to go back to a true centre-half back to position with DeCampo. Or Tempera, rather. He then goes short over the top. Bouncing ball and running away with it is Tempera. Had all the time in the world to then put it into the path of Rawson, who then had to work hard for it. The cavalry arrives. And Rawson bounces back on it just underneath the scoreboard, which reads very pretty for Deanmill at the moment. Strawn taken almost without it. But it's been called holding the ball. Interesting decision. Wilson, the recipient of the free kick. As we near half-time. Centre wing. 2-on-1 in favour of the Hawks. And it's been like that for most of the day. Giannardi slices and dices his way through the middle. The kick turns straight over Wilson, who's been solid in defence, had a lot of intercept possessions. He's been under the pump a lot though as well. Kick was okay. Hall diving, takes it just millimetres from the ground. Finally a little bit of run possibly here for the Magpies. They find themselves down by 70 points. They've really piled on the pain here, Deanmill, in this second term. Left half forward, it was knocked away from Hancock. Then handed it back. Gillies went back in turn. Plenty of numbers from both sides around this ball. Blinko was beaten to it by Giannardi, who then shrunk the tackle. What a fend off there from Giannardi. Gave it back, finds its way to Sparks. They then chip it forward. Hall is starting to take the you-know-what at the moment now. Hall through the middle of the ground. Chipping ball nicely to Strawn. He then goes inside 50. Into the pocket. Bouncing ball knocked away. Well done by Hall, who then puts it toward the boundary along the broadcast side to a neutral position. But again, the numbers are with Deanmill in the hands of East, who took way too long and was brought down. They're going to take the advantage and try and get some run into this game here. Imperials handed forward. Smith had it knocked away from him. Sparks will get it back. Giannardi through the middle of the ground. They want to go the shortest way home to the fat side with Rawson. Plays on it as soon as he took the mark. To a one-on-one. Strawn was almost manhandled. And the umpire saw it that way as well. Or he didn't. He's going to call for it. Some very tired boys as we near half-time. It's been a big first half. Both sides will be looking forward to the half-time break. Imperials especially get some relief from the pile-on that they've experienced. Still in the back half. Overcooked the kick. Through the waiting arms of Gillies. And turned straight over. Armstrong did well to get it back and cause the stoppage. It's at the top of the 50 though for Deanmill. Kicking to the left of screen here in this second term. Slapped forward by Hall. There's numbers aplenty around this footy. Sparks stopped and propped. Handed it back to the run. McGinty throws it on the boot. Into the pocket. And into the waiting arms of Demetriou. Saw him kick a classy goal earlier today. Earlier in this quarter, in fact. And he's lining up for a fourth. Kicked the first two of the day. This is for his second in the second quarter. He's a live wire. And he's got four. Set the tone for Deanmill. And he continues them rolling on their merry way. 16 goals. They've brought up the century before half-time. Not something you see very often. And I don't think anyone expected it today. But here we are. Plenty of questions that need to be answered. And in a hurry for Imperials. Ball back in the centre. Round 5 in the Lower Southwest Footy League. Hall handed it back. They win the clearance yet again, as we've said so many times. It's almost like a broken record at the moment. Sliding through was Sparks. Over the head of Strawn. Wilson was there. Put the ball to his boot and sent it towards the boundary line. Mares had a bit of a task. He was up to it though. Snakes his way along the boundary. Came off the side of the boot. And into the second row. Just past the Imperials bench. Which you sense wouldn't be the best place to be at the moment. To centre wing, broadcast side. Oh, that's a heavy hit. And there's a bit of push and shove now. East. Almost clotheslined. Mares. Almost had his head just ripped off. You never like seeing that. And the trainers, you sense, will be getting to him as soon as possible to make sure that he's okay with concussion and the like. In the meantime, Tempera inside to Rawson, who then goes in turn to Sparks, and then he's through the middle of the ground to Strawn. They're lining up for one last crack at it here, Deanmill, before the halftime break. Into the forward pocket. Toward the boundary line, mark taken. They just cannot catch a break at the moment. And the mark's taken by East. Looks inboard for a better option. Eyes are still darting as he's on the approach. This is a very tough kick. A tight angle. The kick looks pretty good. And it's there! An extraordinary goal from an impossible angle. The dominance continues. As if it wasn't bad enough, they're now kicking them from everywhere. East gets another one on the board. 107 plays 26. After they got the first blood, the Magpies, with Mares at the 2-minute mark of this second quarter, that then proceeded to let 8 unanswered goals through this second term. They have piled it on. Deanmill, as if it wasn't bad enough at quarter time, it's starting to get very, very ugly indeed. Gizzarelli just handed it straight back to Hall, who puts it into half forward as we hit the main break. You could not ask for a better start if you were a Deanmill fan. 107 plays 26 at halftime. 8 unanswered goals to end the second quarter. At the main break, plenty of answers for Imperials. We'll be back right after this. And we're back on for the second half where Deanmill have got a very handy 80-point lead heading into the second half. Demetriou, he's already kicked 4 today. This time he sets it up to the top of the goal square and the mark taken out in front in defence. In the end, a pretty sloppy kick there from the young gun Demetriou, who's been lively all day. Not quite out of jail just yet though, Imperials. To the outer side they head to left half forward. And then going back to where it came and turns straight over. Out the back, Strawn strolls in. And if there was a passage of play to sum up how Deanmill and Imperials are going and the difference between the two, that's what you would see. Strawn gets yet another goal. There's his 4th. First for the third quarter. First blood to the Hawks. This margin continues to grow, and it doesn't seem like there's any sign that it's slowing down or getting any smaller. Just a poor turnover in the defensive 50 from the Magpies was all that was required for Strawn to get his 4th and the first of the third term. Hall palmed it down, but up to the challenge, Johnson got the clearance to half forward and bouncing away. Deanmill, Cahill, wide sweeping handball, long to centre wing. And then short again, over the back. Hall goes inboard. East led the race, was wide of him, handballed back by Collins. And they relieve it away. They just get rid of that little foray forward. Hall takes it at left half back, wants to stick to the outer side. Not keen on bringing it laterally into the middle. So they stick to centre wing down by the scoreboard. Cahill, who's been lively all day. McGinty. Both those two have set up a lot of the play off half back. Nickel with a chipping ball. This is Gianardi. Into the middle. Tempera. Goes wide. De Campo. Wider still. East had it knocked away from him. Umpire paid the mark. Goes short. And there's runner plenty up ahead for Sparks. Goes wide. Does it get there for Strawn? Yes, it does. He then looks inboard, wanting to spot the easy kick. He does it to Tempera. And, well, I'm almost running out of room for the amount of goal scorers that Deanmill have got today. Tempera looks to add his name to that list. This would be the 10th straight goal for Deanmill. It's to the left and it was coming back, but never enough to worry the goal umpire too much. As I mentioned, 9 straight goals. That's including from the second quarter for Deanmill. Wilson, who's been solid down back. He's been under the pump for a lot of today, but he's got a lot of intercept possessions. Collins was pushed after taking the mark and then wheels around onto the right, but hands it straight back to East. Goes wide into the pocket. Demetriou is out the back, straight onto his chest. And from what we've seen, this is kickable by his standards. He's kicked 4 today. Kicked the first 2 of the game. Collected plenty of touches as well. One of many that's been able to fill his boots. Does the unselfish team thing, gives it to Gianardi, who, for the amount of work that he's done in the contest, through the sort of half back to centre wing part of the ground, deserves some reward. He's got Tempera in his ear wanting to possibly run past for the handball, and then Demetriou's led back to the top of the square. It's a wobbly old ball toward the teeth of goal, and it was to the near side, and a minor score is all that results. Into the back pocket for Gizzarelli. Still in the defensive 50, Hall goes back to Wilson right on the goal line. They've just got no movement up ahead. He's got nowhere to go. He looks around in a state of panic and then goes to the outer side out on the lead. Good mark taken there by Potts. Again though, no movement down that outer side, so they switch it back to the defensive 50. High up and under ball onto the chest of Cameraman. As Gizzarelli running for him, instead goes on the 45 laterally to Collins. He hands it back to Hall. Again, nowhere to go. They've had 7 or 8 possessions and travelled all of about 10 metres down the field. Ibsen. Can he find an option? 2-on-1. Just no movement ahead of the footy, and now it stays inside the forward 50. Ibsen gets it back from where it originally began. There's been a whistle on play, and the frustration is obvious on the face of Ibsen as it goes back to McGinty. Man on the mark is at about 40 metres out from goal. He's got options aplenty inside forward 50. Gives it a good ride right to the goal line, but it misses the lot and is out of bounds on the full. So a little bit of a lull in play in this last little period where the Imperials have tried to hold a bit of possession, and now they might start to get some energy back into the game. Ibsen handed it wide, but it was a bit of a hospital pass to Potts, and it's turned straight back over just outside the forward 50 for Deanmill. Well, Potts, he should have probably grabbed onto it rather than spoiling it. And now they're away again. Gianardi handed it over the top. And it's fallen to Edgar. Steps around one. Almost caught by another. Shrugged a couple of tackles. Handed it wide, wanting Strawn. Put his head over the footy. Wanted the free kick and gets it. And Mears argues his case that if you lead him with your head, then you're bound to get taken. Well, the umpire took pity, and now there's a bit of push and shove, and a couple of umpires have come in just to defuse the situation. It's been overturned, in fact. So there was a hit over after the play, after the original free kick. It's been overturned, going the way of the Maggies. Down the line, it was a dangerous-looking ball. Ibsen did well to at least get hands to it, and he got the free kick after the chop of the arms from Sparks. Again though, no movement down the line, so it's just a dumping ball to centre wing. Well done, using his body Hancock to push Cahill underneath the footy and take the mark. And now they've got one-on-ones inside 50, but out the back there's no one. Just brown and gold jumpers. One of them's Tempera. The kick wasn't fantastic. Made his teammate work for it. They did okay though. DeCampo, a wobbling ball, works out okay. And now it's Deanmill's turn to have a bit of a run. Cahill switching the ball inside 50. Inside the corridor rather. Gillies goes short. Mark taken by Mears. Goes for a run through the middle. Spots the kick up. Knocked away from the intended target. Out the back. McGinty again takes the defensive possession and goes out wide. And through the middle of the ground they head with Edgar. Just the one goal scored in this third quarter through the opening 10 minutes, and that was by Strawn right at the start of the quarter. They've peppered away though, Deanmill. Gianardi Goes short. Finds McGinty and then he spots it up. Went over the head though of Rawson. He had his own moment earlier in the game. Waits for the help to arrive in Gleeson, who then dives on top of the footy. Locked up. Get a ball up. Umpire waits for the ruckman to come into the area. In the end, it was only East who flew. Fell to the front. Gianardi had it stripped of him. Spills loose. McGinty had it and then lost it. Had his pocket picked by Mares. Goes to the one-on-one on centre wing. Both players had a piece of it. Well done in the end there by East, who had more support, and one of them was Gianardi. Hands it back. Now inside the corridor to Tempera. They're streaming through the middle of the ground. They've still got plenty of runs in the legs here. Demetrio spots the kick. And surely almost a 50-metre penalty for Rawson. None coming. In fact, Gleeson takes the mark. Been set on the angle. Up against the boundary line. 40 metres out from goal. Gleeson misses to the near side. Never, ever gave that a chance. It was never going to make the journey. Wide for Scott. Shrugs the tackle and plays on. Down the line. And it's over and out. Going to be tossed back into play. 13 minutes have almost expired here in the third quarter. Thrown back into play. Both ruckmen tussled and then falls to McGinty, who wanted to run away with it, but there's been a whistle on play. And it's being recalled for another throw-in. Umpire's going to call for another stoppage, just a couple of metres right of where we had the initial one. Scrapping away Reeve. Couldn't take a clean possession, and that invites a bit of pressure and bodies to come around the footy. Got away from the initial contest. Wide sweeping handball from Sparks was good. Gave it back. Tempera shrugged the tackle. Goes towards 50. Spots the kick up beautifully. Straight into the waiting lap of Fowler, who has kicked one so far today. This one, a gettable shot. Man on the mark is at about 45. He'll kick this from 50. Kicks on its way. It looks good. It is swinging late, though. And it's there, just. I thought from where I'm sitting that it might have just swung through for a behind. But Fowler gets his second of the day. And the first of the third term since the early stages when Strawn kicked the 18th goal. They now have 19 on the board. 121 plays 27. 15 minutes almost gone here in the third quarter. For your Saturday afternoon, this is round 5 in the Lower Southwest Footy League. James Gardner calling all the action for Filming Footy. Right from the first bounce, it has been all going the way of Deanmill. That's now 10 goals on the bounce for the home side here in the Todd Cooper Cup, and it's also the Brodie McFarlane Memorial Round for the Deanmill Footy Club. They were giving away awards in the juniors this week to the most courageous player who best exemplified the spirit of the game that Brody played with, or Macri as he was better known around the traps. Tempera streaming through the middle of the ground, gets a goal from nowhere! From outside 50, he lays into it, he streamed through the middle, and it was a kick and hope, but it gets to the goal line and it's a goal. 11 on the bounce for the Hawks. And their 20th goal of the day. A superb kick. And a great finish. Back into the middle we head. Comes wide, they win it away, the Magpies. Comes toward the boundary, kept in play. Mares goes short, diving away was East. Did he hold on to it? I thought he might have. Umpire didn't see it that way. And then he's set upon by Johnson, who wins the free kick for holding the ball, which is probably a little bit harsh. Goes short into the pocket. Scott plays on from the free kick and then dribbles it home, although there were two goalkeepers waiting there for Deanmill. You have to wonder what he was thinking, whether he could bounce it over both of them. That's ambitious. And their first score in a long, long time. Deanmill. Imperials. Deanmill have been dominating all day. They haven't stopped the scoreboard from moving. Whoever's over there on the scoreboard has definitely earned their keep today. They've had a big job piling on the goals. Mares goes inside 50. Standing in the contest. Nice mark taken by Hancock. Had a few people to beat, and he beat them all. And he'll line up for the first goal since the 2-minute mark of the second quarter. It has been a long while between goals here for the Imperials. Over an hour they've had to wait for their next major, and he gets it. The fifth comes a quarter and a half almost since the fourth. Extraordinary. 127 plays 34. 18 and a half minutes gone. Back up from the restart. East comes away with it, sold a bit of candy, beat a couple of tacklers, and then threw it according to the umpire, so it'll be a free kick. Again, very few options up ahead for Mares. Goes short. Hancock provided the lead. He was defended well by Cahill. Dodged around a couple, the big fella. Then he went for goal from outside 50. It'll bounce on ends and away like a Shane Warne leg break to the boundary. It's the uniqueness of the game that we play. The oval-shaped ball can bounce any which way. Clear and kick out of defence. East. Handballed it over the top. Sparks. 9-iron chipping ball was nice. Back to East, who he got it off. And then he goes down the line to the lead of Farquhar. And he goes short to Demetrio. Wants to come inboard. Umpire calls him to play on. Puts it inside 50. And alone again out the back, Fowler takes the mark. Kick 2 already today, Fowler. His most recent was at the 16-minute mark of this. Oh, sorry, no, that was Tempera who kicked it at the 16th minute mark. His came at about the 10. For his third, dead in front of goal, straight over the goal umpire's hat. If you're just tuning in, that scoreboard is not wrong. It is a 99-point margin in favour of the Deanmill Hawks here over the Imperials Magpies. At the 21-minute mark of the third quarter, they brought the century up before half-time, Deanmill. They have really, really dominated. Scott trying hard, locked it up. Throwing back up, Scott scrambling for it. Through a couple of sets of hands, gives a rally. Got it back from the 1-2 and a nice, well-weighted kick to Armstrong. Took it uncontested in the end. Gizzarelli ran back on, took a bounce. Thought about another one. Instead, went the left inside. It was a searing ball for Mares. Had it knocked away from him. Recovered best, though. Kept his feet and did well. Handed it to Hancock. Quick snap around the body. It was toward the near side and helped over by East. Couldn't get the 6th for Imperials. He's kicked a couple, Hancock. Couldn't do the job on that occasion. The back pocket for Sparks. Goes along the boundary line to Reeve. And that fluorescent boots, it's hard to miss him. The small forward, high up and under ball, plenty of air under that kick, and Hall read it best. With still a quarter to go, you'll wonder how big this margin could blow out to. It will provide a very nice percentage boost for Deanmill, who are fighting for that top 4 position. Coming off the back of a couple of losses after winning in round 1. Kick was turned over to Wilson, who in turn kicked it back to where it came, which was with Hall. Goes short down the line, and Strawn takes the mark. He's done his case for leading goal kicker. No harms today, Strawn. He's also been a big presence and up the ground done a lot of work as well. Starting to really come into the season and embrace the Deanmill Footy Club. Gianardi overcooked the kick. Boundary line becoming a little bit of a factor, although it's kept in. Going back to Beebe, who then threw it out of bounds on the full. In the forward half for Deanmill, kicking to the right hand side of the screen in this third term. Back inside 50. Snapping ball from Fowler. Just hooked it too much. And it's through for a minor score. Big lead for the home side. Rebounding after a couple of down weeks. And still a quarter to play as we near the final change. And if you're an Imperial supporter, that full-time siren can't come quick enough. It's going to be a throw-in right on the 50-metre arc, just about for Imperials. Thrown back into play, cruising on through. Cahill on the left. Puts it to the top of the goal square. Out the back, on the goal line. Fowler takes the mark and puts the goal through. He's starting to have a bit of a small bag. That's his second on the trot. His fourth for today. Starting to really fill his boots. As are this whole Deanmill team. Out by a lot, that's for sure. Almost 100 points this margin. In what is a pretty disappointing performance from the Magpies. Let's see if they can muster something in this last quarter and a bit. Scrapping away. Umpire will call for it back. Just being outworked, outclassed, outmuscled from the get-go. Imperials. Umpire's hovering. He's going to pin them, holding the ball. Goes to Gianardi. Eventually we'll get it. Attacking side of the centre circle. Goes to half forward. Mark taken by East in the helmet. Played on around the mark. Then spots the kick up nicely. Out to the lead of Strawn. He's got the head bandaged and then plays on immediately. Does the unselfish thing to Cahill. Now, if anyone deserves a goal, it's this man. He has been instrumental off half back for the Hawks. Set up a lot of their play for the majority of this game. Right behind this kick, he's hooking it and missing it. Just too much right to left action. Gisarelli goes short. Off the half volley, they can't collect it, and it's right near the Imperials bench there. Interesting result in the AFL. The Bombers get up over the Swans by 8 points, 11-5, 71 to 8-5, 63. Three-quarter time was 11-4 to 5-10 in favour of the Bombers. In the meantime, the goal from Gianardi sticks. Well, the icing is starting to be applied to what is a very, very sweet cake. And you get the feeling there'll be plenty of icing applied. Classy finish from Gianardi. And that AFL game, Essendon 9-1 to 2-4 at half-time, 11-4 to 5-10, three-quarter time. And despite Zach Merritt only getting 19 disposals, Nick Martin bought his own footy. 38 touches for him, 3 goals for Nate Caddy. They hold off by 8 points. Games tonight, the showdown, of course, in Adelaide, and then up in Darwin, Gold Coast, my boys, take on the Western Bulldogs. So it's the Gardner Brothers Cup tonight, with my brother being a Bulldogs supporter, as the siren sounds for three-quarter time. And it's a very handy lead, that's for sure. Out by 106 points as we head to the final change, the Deanmill Hawks. How far can this lead go? We'll find out after. Welcome back to Deanmill for the final quarter in what has been a dominant display by the Hawks. They have really dominated from go to woe. Imperials with no answers. Let's see what the final 20 minutes or so holds for us. 107 points is the margin as we get back underway, and the umpire will restart the bounce after a poor throw up. 22 goals for Deanmill. They had broken the century before half-time had even started. It's really been led by the midfielders. Scott handballed it out the front of the contest, but straight in the waiting arms of McGinty, who then gave it away, and they're away again. East handed it wide. Sparks goes inside 50. High up and under ball. Overcooked the kick. There was a chop of the arms coming back. Free kick going the way of Deanmill. So, free kick for a chop of the arms. Kick on its way, looks good, and it's there. Start of the last positive for Deanmill. $24-12 for them today. At the start of the last. And the first of the last going their way. Back in the middle. Scrapping their way along. Spills wide. McGinty went the body instead of the ball. Still might work out okay. East flicked it back, wanting Giannotti. Couldn't find him. Falls the way of Hall. Puts it on the boot to centre-half forward. Knocked away from the intended target in Armstrong, who then had to go back in, was tackled. Handed it away. Mares goes for goal for a late consolation prize. He deserved that. He's fought hard all day. And that's a very nice finish. Good way to start the last for the Imperials. Late bit of hope, well, not hope, but something they can hang their hats on, and I think that would be the focus of this last quarter, is to try and get some momentum. Into next week's game. Flicked out wide. Deanmill continuing their dominance. There was a nice finish there from Mares before. Nickel. Going to spot this kick inside 50. Not far from the arc. Spills to the front. Slapped away. Edgar was pushed off the ball. Worried out of it. Handed away. Johnson. To the broadcast wing. Shrugging the tackle and running away is Mares. Takes a couple of bounces. Almost brought down from behind, and it affected the handball. It was over the head of his teammate, and Deanmill again respond. Hall in the middle of the ground. Neutral territory. Goes wide. Wants East. Finds him. He then goes further afield to right half forward, and Strawn, putting the big mitts up, takes the mark. Very, very hard to outmark the big fella when he's at full flight. Goes short. East will run through. Play on inside 50. Put it toward the top of the goal square. Off hands, possibly off the deck. Touch, said the umpire. Tempera tried to plead his case. Couldn't. Going short. And then wide. And Hall takes it inside defensive 50. Goes the only real option, and that's Cameraman. He goes in turn to Johnson, who then goes down the line and finds Hall. He's got nowhere to go, so he goes laterally, almost losing ground to Ispen and then to Wilson. He goes to Wademan. Short to Cameraman. Left half forward. And he goes back into the middle and finds Ibsen. Hall wants the run of Wilson, finds it. And he chips the ball to Armstrong. Plays on, slips as he kicks it, affected it. Mares had to work hard, got the handball away just in time as the pressure came. And then it's locked up again and Tempera has to settle for a stoppage. Thrown back up, knocked to the front by Hall, and then he scraps to try and fight his own footy. Umpire wants it to keep moving. Mares throws it on the boot inside 50. Handed it away, and again, as they've done all day, the Deanmill defence stacks up. Cahill wanted Strawn, was knocked away from him one of the few times that he's been at least halved in the contest. Gliding through Smith, it was a nice kick. Nowhere to go though here, Goodridge had to take the bounce and then put it to the inside 50, and East getting back takes the defensive mark. He goes short to Gleeson, who plays on, takes a bounce, almost invites the pressure, wants a challenge, goes inside, handball over the top, wasn't the best, then off almost the shin there of Mares. It was never going to end well, and as it has so often, it ends up inside 50. Strawn with a wide sweeping handball. Goes in to McGinty. Sets himself for goal. On the goal line, Edgar could have shepherded through. Instead, dives and takes the slips catch. Nice finish after it. Nice mark there from Edgar. Back in play. Again winning the clearance. Spills loose. Gliding through Tempera. Knocked away from Fowler. Couldn't quite get hold of the clearance. And it's been called back for a stoppage. Thrown back into play. Spills loose at the front. Rawson throws it on the boot. and never looks likely to even get close. Out of defence, Imperials head toward the line, over and out. Gliding through again, McGinty goes wide, nice mark on the lead. Taken by Edgar. Takes the mark, slide angle. Been good without too much reward today, Edgar. Kicked a couple of goals himself. Provided a target though. Most importantly, up forward for Deanmill as he puts that one through. 26 goals for the Hawks today. Ball back in the middle. It appears as though the Todd Cooper Cup is staying in Deanmill. You don't need to be Einstein to work that out. I think we may have already known that after the first quarter. Strawn hovers, went to body instead, and it opened the door for then Hall to extract it away. His handball over the top was nice, and they get a bit of a link-up run, although it was stopped almost as soon as it began. Inside, mark taken by Giannatti. He then puts it in board to the top of the goal square. Toe poke off the deck from Wademan was good. And then Hall had to just dive on top to try and keep Deanmill from getting it. Wilson broke a couple of tackles, throws it on the boot. Mark taken in defence by Nickel. To keep it locked inside the forward half. Throws on the boot. Strawn had it knocked away from him. Wanted the free kick. None was forthcoming. Wilson handed it away. Now Reeves danced around a couple. Fancy footwork. Handed it back. East tried to dodge a couple of tackles and in the end got caught, although he gets the free kick for a trip. Line up for goal. Almost dead in front of goal. This is a big percentage boost for Deanmill in their fight for a top 4 position. On their day, they do seem like a team that could beat most. Saw it in round 1. He dances around the big fella. He danced around the mirror mark, runs into 30, and then went for the dribble kick. Oh, gee whiz. What was he thinking? Boy, oh boy. Could have gone back for goal instead. Danced around one tackle, saw the big sticks, the eyes lit up, and then the hand to the foot connection wasn't there. In the end, there's a stoppage at the top of the goal square. Locked up. Thrown back up by the umpire. Still dangerous territory. And it's a goal out of nowhere for Strawn. Somehow off the deck, gets his boot to ball. And Strawn is feeling his boots today. If you thought it couldn't get any worse for Imperials, it has. Ball back in the centre now. This is a whitewash. He hasn't stopped trying, Mares. Goes off the deck. Cahill's back there. Has a bit of time. And then goes with the right. Chipping ball to Nickel. Hands it away to East. He goes down the line. Out the back. Couldn't hold on to it. Giannatti pushing the back. Illegally used his body on that occasion. So the free kick's going for the Magpies. Into the middle of the ground. It was a really kick and hope on that occasion. East waited for some options. He found it. Then it scoots past Edgar. He kept the ball in motion well and keeps slapping it forward, and all of a sudden they're just about at the 50. Coming out to meet it. Fowler couldn't hold on to it. But it's going to come straight back with a bit of interest with Tempera, who takes the intercept mark. Hands it over to the run of Cahill. He then goes short to Sparks. He goes over the top to Strawn. And then he goes into the pocket. Although the kick wasn't fantastic. In fact, it was Strawn at the end of that. And Fowler kicking it up to him. Toss back into play. Both Ruckman, Tussle, Wilson is at the front. He's knocked away from him on the goal line. They can raffle this away. And snapping it through for a goal is Demetriou. A proper demolition job on a Saturday afternoon in round 5 against their crosstown rivals. The Todd Cooper Cup is staying in Deanmill in the Brodie McFarlane Memorial Game. I'm sure Macca would be smiling down proud at the performance that Deanmill have put on today. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage. I unfortunately have to go. I've got a prior engagement. But you can watch the rest of the action live on Filming Footy. Deanmill going to run out big winners. Hope you enjoyed the call. My name's James Gardner.